The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 6, episode 11. The Ladies Who Lunch, the sequel. And we start off with a after church lunch from or hosted by Mary to get the ladies together because technically they haven't all been together since the whole plane ride from hell with, or should we say, the Meredith from hell plane ride against Brittany to try to see if they can all come together and try to make sense of what happened, I guess, and just move on, right? um this probably took up a whole did this take a whole 20 minutes or so just for this whole section? I don't know. I did write a whole bunch of notes on it, but I don't feel like going back and forth to each person's comment in the conversation. But pretty much Heather Mary started it off to say that, hey, you know what, I did meet with Brittany just to see how she was doing. Or no, she called her because as we see, everybody's here but her. I called her to tell her that, listen, I'm not going to invite you because you made a comment saying that I was an ungodly lady or whatever. So you're going to sit this one out, even though, I do support you and everything that you got going on with Meredith. Brittany says, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. And I apologize because me acting that way in the moment was definitely ungodly on my part. Okay? So Mary took that as well, if she can apologize to me for something, how about y'all sit here and apologize and hash it out? So Heather kind of leads the charge on it to say, like, yes, Lisa, listen, did you hear what she said? Can you at least start a sentence off by saying, I'm sorry if I offended you, but or whatever? And of course, Lisa's like, well, what does this have to do with me? Like, oh my God, I didn't do nothing. And of course, it has to do with Meredith and this plane ride. So we are pretty much going back and forth trying to get Meredith to admit that she was wrong and how she treated Brittany on this plane. They're trying to tell her, like, it's baffling to them that how she's reacting as if it was nothing. And of course, Meredith is acting like as if it's nothing because she's saying, I don't remember, I don't recall. It was not no 5 hours. I probably vented for 30 minutes and I vented to my friend Lisa sitting next to me. Did nobody hear me? I wasn't loud. I was sleeping for half the time. Oh, and I watched 2 movies, by the way. So they questioned her on that. Well, what movies did you watch, and what happened in the movie, and then what happened when he was done with the movie? Like, oh my goodness, come on, y'all. Y'all really gonna do this to me? And she's like, lawyer Meredith, all her answers, I don't know. I don't recall. I don't have no recollection. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember. Who remembers things like that? So, of course, this to them, oh, this is crazy that you don't remember. See, this is another sign that there is something wrong. But the main point, Heather, brings it back to say that we just need you to apologize to Brittany. That's pretty much the main uh, point of this whole debacle situation that happened, because she's the one that's hurt. We are giving her the support, but Lisa and Meredith have to apologize to her both because she holds y'all both equally in this. Okay. And of course, Meredith, she's like, well, I do feel bad that, her feelings were hurt or whatever. But I mean, listen, y'all being mad at me for how I feel? Like, come on. So then Heather says, well, no, you can't feel in this moment your feelings are not valid because of the way you treated her. So of course Meredith was done from the conversation at this point, so she didn't say nothing. She just like, okay, whatever. Since my feelings so bad, then I might as well not talk, right? And they're like, oh my goodness, we're not really getting nowhere. But she mentions to say, like, yeah, and there's people here talking about me behind my back anyway. So whatever I say, y'all gonna talk about me what regardless. And well, what you talking about? Who? Whitney, because Whitney's sitting right next to her, and Whitney was getting in her ear as well as with her 2 cents. So Meredith's like, girl, yeah, I done heard some stuff. So does anybody want to fess up to what was said or what? Bronwyn steps up to say, okay, it was me. Boop, 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 boop. I went and I talked to Whitney, and Whitney told me everything that she witnessed, which was that you were basically a drunken mess. That like they saw you drinking at the bar or something before you got on the plane. You might have had another drink or two while you was on the plane, and then that's where all the things just kind of escalated from there. And yeah, you was a drunk mess and you don't remember. And of course, Whitney's like, okay, we'll see. Yes, I said what I said, and of course, um, she's like, and it's three. It's she's just basically telling Meredith it's three things that I gathered from that whole plane ride and from how you're responding now, which is you either have hatred in your heart, you have an anger problem, or you have a problem with mixing substances and alcohol. And Meredith, uh, okay, are you me? Excuse me? So, Meredith is taking it as, she's taking it off. She's not spazzing out like she normally would do, which is, maybe she took notes to say, well, let me try to remain calm as I can from now on while I discuss with these ladies because they're going to point it out to me eventually later. But she's just letting them know, like, listen, I don't even know what I'm going to do with Brittany. Okay. So y'all can keep talking to me until y'all blue in the face. Fine. And that Bronwyn thing, of course, listen, when you talk, it's going to come out, especially if you talk amongst the group. So trying to say that she's trying to mess up your friendship with Whitney, which by trying to out you with some conversation, girl, you probably shouldn't have said it in the first place if you wasn't supposed to say it. So you know what I'm saying? Don't be dumb, Brown. You can't. You said it. You said it. Anywho, we learned that Bronwyn is not a U.S. citizen. Oh goodness, she was born in Brazil and her parents are from the UK, so she actually has dual citizenship to both places. Okay. Heather over there in that big old house by herself, empty nesting, but she's loving it. So Lisa and Meredith go meet up and, trying to discuss this whole after church dinner to come to this conclusion that, dang, Heather, she was the one that took the charge of that whole ambush, if you want to call it that. So, damn, I'm a little bit surprised by that. Like, I can't believe she's supposed to be our friend and everything, but this how she gonna do it? Okay, okay, we see you, Heather, we see you. But what I'm really surprised at is Whitney, because how dare she try to say some damaging accusations against me, like calling people drunks and substances abuse. Like, that's not cool, which, it is not. We don't want to do that to people and ruin their professional lives and stuff like that. Like, it's not how we want to, but listen, she said it. It's on the camera. We're going to say, I bet you we're going to mention it at the reunion. And Lisa goes ahead and tell Meredith that she actually did go ahead and meet with Brittany just to try to see if they can resolve something between them. And from the conversation that they showed us, it looks like, as always, Lisa thinks she got everything straight on her end, even though she did not apologize technically. And Brittany just sitting there like, oh Lord, if this is this is what I got, this is what I get from Lisa. Is this all I can accept it? I guess so, because you ain't gonna get too much up out of her for real. And Meredith pretty much is like, listen, I feel bad for everything that happened with the plane and everything, uh, Brittany's feelings getting hurt or however she was feeling. Okay, valid and all that. Sorry, boo boo boo. But listen, maybe we'll have to talk sometime. I don't know, but honestly, I really don't care for the girl. So Heather and Whitney got together to go ahead and throw away some old mattress that Heather's been hanging on to for about 20 years. Like, ooh, girl, I didn't know people hold on to mattresses that long. But because like mine is probably a good maybe three, no, not three, maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years old or something, and I'm kind of ready for a new one. But anyway, moving the mattress, and of course they're bringing up Meredith and how they feel about it. Heather being a friend to Meredith is a bit worried, just a tad, because calling her out and trying to hold her to the fire, something that she's never really done before. So she's not sure if this is, going to hurt what they got going on or not. And then Whitney on her side, when it comes to her comments about the substance abuse mixing with alcohol stuff, it was more of kind of like a trigger for her because it just reminded her, like, of her father and things that he would do. And had she known that Bronwyn was going to go behind her, and run back and tell Meredith what she said, then she probably would have not said nothing to her, maybe just told Heather about it or just held it to herself until she can actually go and talk to Meredith about it, one-on-one to explain, exactly why she feeling this way, and just to say that, I'm concerned and might want to get you some help. I don't know. Meredith don't want your help, Whitney. She gonna tell you, girl, if you don't get up out my face. Brittany and Olivia, they are working on their mother-daughter relationship, so they are taking the step to go to therapy. And, we kind of already heard the story about how Brittany got a new man and married him and went on and had basically a new life with the new husband and kind of just forgot about her other kids, which is Olivia and her other sister, which I think the other sister, I think she's okay with Brittany or whatever. It's mostly this Olivia one who, you know, uh, wants to get back good with her mom. She just a little bit leery, because once everything gets good, what if she goes and runs away again and all this type of stuff, right? But therapy is the good stuff that they're going through, and they're learning that, hey, they actually do got a lot of things in common when it comes to how they feel and their emotions and how they deal with some things. So kudos to them for taking the right step in the right direction. So then we get Bronwyn with her mom and her daughter, and she's trying to take a little Zen wind break at a little bonsai shop, bonsai trees or whatever. And they're just discussing Gwen is going to be moving out soon, or I think both her mom and Gwen gonna be moving out soon. So Bronwyn just all sad and going through the motions because everybody's leaving me and I'm gonna be all alone, and I just got into a good space with my mom. Oh, all this stuff that Bronwyn be going through emotionally. She got some attachment issues as well as some mommy issues. But yeah, she'll be all right though. So we end the show with Meredith and Brittany. They actually meet up to sit down to apologize to each other, okay? And they kept it cute, short, and sweet. Meredith starts it off, obviously, because, it's your fault. Um, Breaks it down real nicely, like, I'm sorry that you heard me talking about you. Which I said, really? Okay. But, Brittany just listening and let her go. She says basically it was the wrong place, wrong time. She didn't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. The path between them probably, hasn't been the best, they ups and downs, or they've never really been on the same page. But in real life, Meredith treats everybody with kindness and respect, and hopefully they can try to come together to do such things, right? Just be kind and respectful to each other. We ain't got to be friends, but we do got to be around each other if Brittany's gonna be here on the show and in this group, right? So we all got to be cordial, whether we like each other or not. And of course, Brittany takes it and says, "Okay, okay, I accept your apology. Thank you for all of that." She's still been all upset about it, and I don't even know the timeline to see how many days it's been, because they've been harping on it for, this is what, the third episode. So thankfully, we get to move on the next one. Yes. But she, in turns, apologizes to Meredith to say that, okay, I was a bit shady with the TikTok. I was trying to, hit you a little bit with the Seth thing. And Meredith took that because that was the whole point as to why she got angry, was because you presented it as you was trying to help me or be a friend, when technically you was trying to take a dig at me. So, and I caught it. So, girl, no. Okay. And that's how we end the episode. They both say, okay, we cool. You apologize, I apologize, and we can move forward, whatever that means. Because like I said, we get to the next episode, the next thing you know, you did this and you liar. Like, you just never know, right? So we'll see. This was all right. I actually got through this pretty quickly because I'm watching and recording at the same time. It goes faster that way. But anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye. Thanks for watching.